Alright, hello everybody, it's me, Mr. Farina here. Not feeling too well, so my voice is going to be a little bit off. I'm just going to go over some of the study guide questions with you guys. Hopefully make this easy for you guys if we have a quiz coming up. So right here, on this first one, it says B is less than 5. And what we're going to do is substitute in these numbers here. So it says name two integer values of the variables that make the statement true. So we have these integers. Remember, integers are whole numbers that are either negative, positive, or 0. And we're going to basically sub them in for B. So instead of B is less than 5, we're going to say 5 is less than 5. And is that true? Well, it isn't, right? So this one can't be right. We're going to take that out of our options. Next one, 0 is less than 5. Is that true? Yes. 5 is less than 5. That's not true because we know 5 is equal to 5, so it's not less than 5. On C, we have negative 5 is less than 5. That's accurate. What about 0 is less than 5? That one is not accurate. So, or that one's also accurate. So that is our answer. So our C is our only option, or it's correct. We can go ahead and check D as well, but we see 5 right here. So 5 less than 5 does not equal our answer. So answer C. All right, which of the following statements is false? So I have 11 is less than 13. Is that true? Yes, right? 11 is less than 13. Now let's go to the next one. 13 is greater than 11. Is that true? That is true. And we're not looking for true. We're looking for false, right? So you got to pay attention to what it's asking us. So these two are true, so they're not our answers, right? We can cross them off if we wanted to. Next one is C. Negative 13 is greater than negative 11. This is where some of you guys are having trouble. But again, think of it as money, right? And if this is negative 13, that's saying like you owe $13, and this is saying you owe $11. So you would rather owe $11. So negative 11 is greater. So this is our answer. It's going to be C again. And this next one, negative 11 is greater than negative 13. That is true. And if we had it on the number line, so let's use this number line right here. Negative 10 is right here. So negative 11 would be right here. And 12, 13, right? Notice that negative 11 is on the right. It will be to the right of negative 13. And numbers to the right are bigger than numbers to the left. So that is another way of thinking about it. So our answer is C. Alright. Number 3. Which number could be used to represent the position relative to sea level of a submarine completely underwater? So if we're talking about water, I'm going to go blue here. A submarine would be down here somewhere, right? This is going to be my weird little drawing of a submarine. Look at it. It's going to be black. And then I'll give him a little... Alright, that's my submarine. So if he's underwater, which one of these can represent that? Well, 0 feet would be right here, right? At sea level. 100 feet would be above. It'd be up in the sky somewhere. Negative 100 feet would be down here somewhere. And negative 100 minutes has nothing to do with distance, right? It has to do with time. So we're talking about distance here. So it's kind of only option that makes sense is to be negative 100 feet because submarine's underwater, right? It's completely underwater. So that is our answer for D. Wow, look at it. There's a lot of C answers, right? I wonder if that's I wonder if that's gonna be the same thing for the quiz. All right, next one. Which of the following number lines shows the graph of 8, 4, and negative 2? So all we have to do on this one is figure out we have 8, 4, and negative 2. So where on this number line would 8 be? Let's find that first. Well, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's a dot there, so that's good. So we're going to try the next number now, which is 4. So I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a dot there as well. So far, 8 and 4 right here, right? And then it says negative 2. So I'm here. Negative 2 would be negative 1, negative 2. And there's a dot there as well. So our answer is going to be A because it has our 3 integers listed here. Let's try a different one just to show you guys. So right here I have 0, 1, 2. So this is positive 2. This is negative 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 4. And negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is showing me negative 8, negative 4, and positive 2, which is the opposite of these, right? So our answer is going to be A. Alright. Not bad, right? I know some of the times the words are a little confusing. It makes it seem like, what is this even asking me? Once you figure it out, though, it makes a little more sense. Alright, so this next one on number 6 talks about graphing the integer 4 and its opposite on the number line. So what is the opposite of 4? We know 4 is 4, right? So the opposite of 4 is going to be negative 4. And all we have to do is graph it on the number line. So we're going to make a number line like this, right? Make sure you have your little arrow. Oh, that's not an arrow. Use my little pencil tool. So this is my arrows. Not very pretty. Hopefully you guys can see better than that. Normally at the middle we have 0, right? Let me write in here because I don't like the way my number line is looking. We'd have 0 on this first check. And then we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And on this side we would have negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, oops, negative 1. Move them over to where they should be. There we go. Right? Negative 1 is closer to 0. And the numbers get bigger, but they're actually getting smaller, right? Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So that's what our number line should look like. And it's asking us to graph the integers. That means we actually have to put the little dots where they would be. So if I have 4 here, I have 1 dot there. Oh, I'm supposed to make it a... trying to make it a closed circle, but it's not filling for me. It's not filling for me. Let me try something else real quick. 1 sec. Here we go. Alright, so this guy. I should have a dot here. And if I go to negative 4, I'm going to have another dot there, right? So I'm going to have my dot on negative 4. And this is how I'm going to fill it because the number is not letting me. I know it's a little bit messy, guys. But your number line will keep going. Alright, there we go. So this is how you graph the integer. You're just putting it on a number line. So I have 4 and negative 4. That's how I do my thing. You can make sure you have your little tallies too. It's kind of hard to do on the computer. Luckily you guys have paper and pencil, so it might be easier for you guys. Alright, number 7, find the opposite of negative 12. So the opposite of negative 12 is positive 12, right? Or right here. Now it's saying the opposite of that. So opposite of positive 12 would be negative 12. So it's basically going to stay the same. So our answer is just negative 12. So it's going to stay the same. Now we're talking about absolute value here. These bars, they mean absolute value. It means whatever is inside turns into a positive. It doesn't make this negative. It stays positive. So if this is already positive, it doesn't really change. So my number here, let's say it would be like this, right? My negative turns into a positive. Over here, I don't have to do anything. So now you just have to put it together. And I have 25 plus 25. And what is that? You guys can figure that out. And that's going to be your answer. You can do the same thing for number 9. Absolute values are going to turn this into a positive. And turn this into a positive. And then in between them, I have a plus sign. So you guys should be able to figure out what to do. Alright, number 11. And I'm skipping a couple because we either went over them in class or they're the same thing we just talked about. So number 11 says the number line shows the overnight low temperatures in Anchorage, Alaska over 4 nights last January. Which point represents the coldest overnight temperature? So of all of these, right, it's asking for the coldest. Whoa, now it's solid. Look at what I didn't want it to do. The coldest overnight temperature. So our coldest overnight temperature is going to be our smallest number. So what's our smallest number here? We know smallest numbers are all the way to the left, bigger numbers to the right. So the smallest number here would be this one, right? So V is our answer, or negative 6, however you want to put it. Number 12. The table shows the maximum diving depth 5 students have achieved. Write the students' names in order from the deepest depth to the shallowest depth. We talked about this in class. Shallow means not deep, basically. So if you're diving in a pool, you want to dive in the deep end, right? You don't want to dive in the shallow end. But it's asking to do deepest to shallowest. So who's our deepest? That would be our biggest negative number. And that's going to be this name right here. Sinan or Sinan? I'm not sure how to say that. Apologize for any Sinans out there or Sinans out there. That's going to be our first one, right? So we would write Because it wants us to list an order from deepest to shallowest. So our deepest is Sinai, and it's asking for some names. So we're going to put Sinai. Our next deepest, that would be negative 31, right? Our biggest negative number. Tamia. And then you guys can figure out the rest. Alright? Alright. Man, I can't sing when I'm sick, guys. Sorry. Alright, so this next one here. Let me get rid of this thing. It says the table shows the change in 4 company stock prices at the end of the day trading. Which company's stock lost the most? So what's their biggest negative number here? And that's what your answer is going to be. For 13. I'm not going to give it to you this time. 14. Compare negative 4 and 4. Right? Less than or greater than. Alright, so which one's bigger here? That's pretty straightforward, right? That's something you guys should figure it out or should know by now. And now number 15, use a number line to find the absolute value of 6. Remember, absolute value turns whatever number in there positive. If it's already positive, it stays positive. It's always a positive number. So, let's see here. We have this graph here. So where would I graph positive 6? If you guessed over here, you're right. Right? I would just put a dot there. And then you would make sure it's filled in. I don't like this thing. Let me see if I can just. Alright. Hopefully you get the point. The dot should be right here on positive 6. Alright. 16. The highest temperature recorded in the town of Westgate this summer was 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Last winter, the lowest temperature was -1. Find the difference between these extremes. Okay, so if we have 100, it's all the way to the right, right? On a, let's say we had a graph or a line. We have 100 all the way to the right, right? $100 would be like way over here, and -1 would be close to 0, right? Like right here. Well, it's just asking how far are they away? How far are they away from each other? One way to think about it is, do we just take the? Because we're talking. See here. We would take the absolute value of 1 plus the absolute value of 100, which is the same as. Oh, I can do this. There you go. I can write absolute values here. Okay. And then just add them together. So what's 1 plus 100? Well, that's just going to be 101, right? That's the difference. And let me see here. On the stock market, 4 companies had stock prices changes of negative 0.25. And I'm going to make this one bigger because I'm going to need more room. 1 sec, I'll be back. This might be the last one I'm going to work out for you guys. I think the rest you guys can figure out. And if not, come with your questions so we can do it in class. But on the stock market, 4 companies have stock prices changes of 5/8, negative 0.25, negative 1/8, and 1.5. List these. Oh, I got cut off. You know what, guys? I'm going to start number 17 on a different video because I ran out of time. And so I'll add one more video just for number 17. Alright, I'll be back.